This is basic to the propaganda that started with the false flag terror event on 9/11, which was, of course, a Zionist job, Israel first neocon job, with Benjamin Netanyahu having laid out the scenario way back in 1979.
Well, that bloke was University of Lethbridge professor Anthony Hall. He's been a distinguished guest on very reputable outlets like Press TV, owned by the completely unbiased Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting. Isn't it funny when these hacks try to use excessively generic names to normalize their ridiculous ideas? Like, oh hey, we're not Iranian propaganda, we're Press TV. We're just the press. Or, oh hey, I'm Richard Spencer. I'm advocating a white ethno-state through the National Policy Institute. Anyway, back to Professor Anthony Hall. The guy doesn't only think 9/11 was a Zionist job, no, he also thinks ISIS is in bed with Israel.
This Islamic State is a proxy army. It is sponsored, funded, armed, especially by Saudi Arabia, which is very closely connected to Israel.
Now, the University of Lethbridge suspended Anthony, but then reinstated him. The professor was back to talk about one of his favorite topics, Islamophobia, earlier this month.
Go to the Islamophobia industry. This is the name given to like the Pam Gellers, the David Horowitzes, the Daniel Pipes, all these think tanks and media initiatives, the Site Intelligence, Rita Katz. I mean, there's a whole complex of funding agencies, often philanthropic families, of Jewish background, who fund these think tanks, these publicity centers. It's been dubbed by some the Islamophobia industry. And of course, false flag terrorism is a possible related subject, I would argue.
This is, of course, what the left does with every privileged identity group. You can write a completely straight news piece, just sticking to the facts, but if it makes one of their special pet victim groups look bad, you're no longer espousing truth, you're suddenly preaching hatred. But let's talk a bit about Anthony's obsession with false flags. Joshua Blakeney, one of the guy's graduate students, received a $7,714 scholarship to study 9/11 conspiracy theories. Oh, and look here, the ongoing financial commitment of the province of Alberta made this possible. Well, that's money from all of you Albertans out there who actually contribute to society in meaningful ways. And it's not just scholarships. The University of Lethbridge itself is publicly funded. As for Anthony, he has a pretty middling Rate My Professor score. Some people praised him for being extremely passionate and an energetic hippie with fascinating concepts, but then you get to the reviews noting his left-wing bias, claiming he abuses the stage he receives as a teacher, and suggesting he's not too tolerant, saying you cannot tell people that they are wrong just because they disagree with you. And that's really the gist with these far-left scholars. Dare to bring conservative or libertarian speakers to the campus and you get called a Nazi. But call them out when they claim Israel did 9/11, or that white supremacist patriarchy caused the Vegas massacre, and then you are violating their academic freedom or free speech rights. For Campus Unmasked, I'm Rob Shimshock. If you like this video and support our mission, please make sure to comment and subscribe. If something happens on your campus and you'd like us to investigate, send us details using the form on campusunmasked.com.